What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Steve Scully Unfiltered podcast. Uh, Here we go. Okay, so I just started sitting here like I should probably podcast. Okay, I'll hit play. So hit record. So I start recording. Here I am. It's probably been about a week and a half since the last one. I think a week and a half. I've just been thinking about stuff, trying to get my research out. Hungover Jacks went on Dissident Science's YouTube this Saturday. It was on just kind of interesting. Dissident Science. It's either Dissident Science or Scientist. I think Science. David DeHilster. He had me. He brought me in to his YouTube stream on Saturday, and he's just got like a huge list of all these like alternative theories. A lot of them based on Newtonian models. He's got one with his Fowler, which is very it's got some similar elements to my own in terms of Newtonian, and from what he said, although the things I've heard also there's definitely discrepancies, but just from a generic sense, it's Newtonian and infinite, which is a huge first step. I mean, that is what it is. Just a matter of like explaining how that is actually what's happening and producing the observations that we see, because there's instances where it's not obvious. So like we'll have some expectation and we'll make some observation. It won't match the expectation. If it's like slightly off what we expected, maybe we'll figure out like why the discrepancy is there and move forward and still maintain the underlying model as being sound. But there's have come instances where the explanation within the Newtonian model wasn't immediately apparent. And so rather than like, because I guess there just wasn't at that time, there really just wasn't anyone defending classical mechanics. It became general relativity versus quantum mechanics, and classical is just like, like, I wish I could like really understand what happened there to like go from classical to fuck it, let's just have these other models, and that's just not true anymore because we believe these other models. That's why. But it's crazy they're gone. It's so gone that it's not even like in the conversation anymore, which is nuts. That there's not a single, as far as I've found, a single experimental or theoretical physicist who is in academia who is attempting to explain new or previously unexplained observations using Newtonian classical mechanics. It just doesn't exist, because that's how far we've come from even in any inkling thinking that might be possible. Like we've just said, no, that's not true. What is true is quantum mechanics and general relativity, and they're flashy. They're like new and sleek, and they got all this like whoa and woo to them that make them have this appeal, and there's this certain prestige to them. If we're like, hey, I understand the thing that makes no sense, don't you understand that I understand, and therefore I'm pretty brilliant. I'm not gonna lie. Have you seen my brilliance? It really is just radiant. The way I make no sense, and I understand me though. Wait, am I like that too? Shit, I'm definitely like that. That's real bad. That's bad. I tried to I went into Eric Weinstein's Discord because I've heard him say on various occasions that he would be supportive of people who basically literally match my description. Like he basically I would be supportive of people describe me. And then I'm like, hey man, right here, buddy. So I went on his Discord and I said, seeking Eric for a theory of TOE theory of everything discussion was I made that my username, and it's just sat in a Discord channel labeled recording aloud because I was gonna record, and someone comes in at some point. I was like, oh wow, someone came in, and they were real nice. His username was Peaceman, I think. Cool guy. He's like, and a girl who I guess they came in together, seemed to be going around together following me. So they were like, you should go to this other Discord. So apparently it's the Portal unofficial Discord, and then the Portal community, and there's all these ones apparently. But I went there because they're like, oh, all these people, we'll just go over there and maybe you can talk to them. And so I went over there expecting exactly what happened. Which maybe I created my own reality with, but you know, it always turns into this like, you don't know what you're talking about, and here's all the things that you need to do to make me even bother to listen to anything that you have to say. And I haven't bothered to hear anything, but I can explain to you all of the nuanced details of exactly why you're wrong and what you need to do in a short response, and fully expect you to understand and just move on with your life and be thankful that I've bestowed my wisdom upon you and corrected the wrongs of your path. I'm like, dude, what a waste of my time. So I left after this, and someone started being an ass, so I just left. Went back to the other channel, the other Discord, and then the other Peaceman, the other melting something with snow. I don't know. They came in and we're like, yeah, okay, let's go back to this other guy. And I was like, all right. So I went over and started talking to this other guy, and then they all came in again, and it just kept being this fucking, like, dude. The guy I was talking to was like, none of them have any ideas. They're all just like, he started railing on him. I guess he has his own ideas, and this had some adverse experiences with the community. And I mean, it's crazy because like when I heard Eric Weinstein say that, I thought his community would be a good place to go, but they're just the internet is vicious. It's the Wild West out there, guys. Can't come be like, hey, random people, I know you don't know me, and you got your own little clique, and you don't really have any interest in anything I have to say, but I think you should know these things. That'll go over well, right? I think you should know these things. As a matter of fact, let's just reform all of society based on these things. Did I mention it's time for a revolution? No offense, guys. I don't want to get attacked. I have freedom of speech, and pretty strongly believe there's no limit to that, and I will defend it. I will. So don't be all like, oh, this motherfucker, how dare he? Let's go ahead and take this out of context, and we'll just ban him. We'll just shut him down, just like everyone else. 'Cause we don't care. We know better. We're fact checking. Fucking fact checkers. It's really sad right now. The place we are at as a society right now. It's about the supernova. That's really how I look at it. Like, we're under such intense pressure that it's gonna blow. And what's gonna be blown off is waste. And what will remain will be, in my opinion, crystalline, much more sound and stable. Because right now we are just freaking. I mean, everything's wrong. Yep, everything. Every scientific model. I'm maybe not every. Some excluded, of course. Some excluded, pardon me, self. I know your model is fantastic and flawless. Why, thank you, self. You have done quite the stupendous work. Sorry, guys. When I'm talking to myself, I talk to myself, you know? It just happens. But seriously, science is fucked. But not just science, everything. Politics, the way that we function, like. Which largely has to do with just our ignorance. I mean, it's not like we just are this way innately, inherently. It literally is a result of our environment, which is just like the baseline, steady state, equilibrium of where we're at. So if there's like more energy, then we move to a higher energy state. It's just like a plane, like a single connection between 2 points, and we can move it to a higher energy or a lower energy. What was I even talking about? God damn, guys. How can I pretend that I know what I'm talking about when I don't know what I'm talking about? You know? Did I say pretend? Oh, that was a Freudian slip. Just like old Joe's today. Oh God, what a world. What did he say? Something about voter fraud. Like the greatest, the Democrat Party has like the greatest voter fraud organization in history or something. People defend it. I mean, I don't. Obviously, he didn't mean to say that, but like, dude doesn't. He's just rambles because he's not present, and I feel bad, and it sucks. But like, really, guys, this is what we're electing. Someone who doesn't have their wherewithal to even know what they're saying. Shit, I don't know what I'm saying. So by the way, I would totally run for president. I would totally accept the office, though. There's the thing, though. I wouldn't run. I would just simply say I would accept it. That's how I would run. In fact, let's just say that is me running by even saying that like one time and never again. The minimum effort. Did I already say this before? I might have already said it. Shit. Minimum effort. So if it's genuinely people want it to happen, then it happens, you know? I don't need to take people's money and then put commercials all over the place where I basically attack people and cut segments of things they say apart to try to present some message of why they're a terrible person. What the fuck, guys? We got homeless people. We got hungry people. We got all sorts of shit we could spend money on that's actually useful. I'm just saying. If you're gonna be like out in the open being all look at me, look how political and how for everyone I am, and then to just take people's money and use it to advertise your own agenda. I mean, it's a Ponzi scheme. You need a product. Just, I was just listening to a podcast. I don't want to say which, because I don't want to be an ass. And it's just talking about how they don't have a product yet, but they're a multi-billion-dollar company with basically no product, and the way that happens is literally just on the back of the fame of the face of the company. And the consistent being out in the world saying, hey guys, you want to support this thing we're doing here? We're trying to make, for instance, electric cars. I know that idea has in the past happened 100 years ago, and it didn't really work like fossil fuels because there's lots of issues and it's hard to scale up like that. And I mean, maybe batteries are pretty shitty technology to be using on that scale. Hey, I don't know. Maybe they're also not good for society to have so many batteries. Like, what the fuck, guys? Really? This is the green future? How about, let's say we don't know the solution and let's fucking figure it out. Because clearly this shit is fucked too. Batteries, I worked in batteries. I'm telling you, they ain't the future. Maybe as a element of what is, and maybe in some like completely new form where it's basically not even like the same technology anymore, where the only thing that makes it a battery is just that it has the general principle of flow from positive to negative. I mean, maybe then there will be a battery that is actually like, yes, let's put that in vehicles. Maybe. But right now, double A's in cars, come on, guys. Literally. Just string a bunch of double A's together, put some flashy stuff on it. Batteries decay. They just don't maintain their capacity, and they decay exponentially. And if you don't charge, if your car runs out of charge, you're fucking your batteries. And there's so much to it, you overcharge it. It's a mess, guys. It's not the future. But the thing is, a company like that has been able to grow on the backing of not an actual product. Because, like, how many cars does Honda sell? And yet it has a smaller market cap than Tesla. Like, something's up. It's all hype, guys. It's not product. And that's what I'm saying. Like, bring a fucking product. Don't just be like in the election, it's Trump and Biden just bashing each other, and like no product. Just like, go America, and the mass. We need mass. Like, fuck off. You're not telling me what to do. I didn't give you fucks permission. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of the situation. Don't even. And that goes for everyone. No one gave you fucking permission. It's just happenstance, guys. It's like a caste system. Like, fuck's sake. Like, someone's born into a shitty life circumstances, and then they develop based on those circumstances, and then people are like, what a piece of shit. Rather than being like, maybe we should have equality, that would maybe promote some more balanced circumstances for all. No, just fuck them, kill them. They're a piece of shit. Let's prison them, put them in prison, cage them. We'll just make sure that they know where their place is, which is below us, because we're the government. We're the man. You're the bitch. You understand? It's fucking ridiculous. I wish my research would get out there, because I would be really talking about this stuff in a more pronounced way, where I'm actually more willing to say things, because weird, but because I mean, I just have, it's like I'm talking to a wall, which is okay. I just need to kind of look past that and just keep talking and not be so worried about the now and how things are, how everything is happening. But it has been over 6 years, and it's like I was telling these people last night in the Discord, like, I'm just trying to literally share my ideas. I don't need your fucking criticism at this point. All right? Like, I need people to have the free capacity to choose knowingly to listen to what I have to say, because they become aware that I even A, exist, and B, do have something to fucking say. Something far more important than the bullshit that's just constantly, it's just noise, guys. Noise. No, did you, mask. We went fucking thousands of years without this fucking bullshit. But did you wear your mask? How about we move on now, guys? Fucks, it's ridiculous. It's all just to appease Karen, or whatever you want to call them, the people that are so convinced that like something must be done, and we gotta protect, put the barrier up. But like, how long do we do that? We just forevermore? Okay, at what point? Oh, well, it's in the future. So like, after I die, like, am I gonna live my fucking life in a world that wears face masks? No. Fuck off. I mean, it's not even real. If it were to, maybe it's real. That's the thing. I don't want to say it's not real, because the more people, if it's not real, because I'm just don't know. But I just don't trust anything the government or mainstream media says, especially at face value, because they're bullshit. Constantly. Guys, they're literally desperate to save their sinking ship and trying to keep society afloat. And the only way they know to do it is to lie, which is fair, because we're fucking tripping, guys. We're like losing our footing, and maybe it's not good to try to go the other way. But at the same time, if we keep going that way, we're just gonna fall. Like, you can't just print money and think that's gonna work, unless the objective is to literally destroy money, to destroy the concept of money, to demonstrate that it's fundamentally flawed, and here's why, and basically produce an outcome of a society that doesn't use it, that uses just recognition that all is one and all is equal. And so how about let's stop doing the checking the boxes. Did you check the boxes? Okay, now you can have the thing. Sip some coffee. What else? So consciousness. I'm just looking at this list. It says consciousness. So hey, how about I talk about consciousness? So something I was mentioning to them last night in that conversation is when I teach or whatever, when I present my research to people, literally on the street corners, that the people get it. It's not like they're faking it. They get it. You understand? There's like I recognize when someone's just like, okay, I'm gonna go now. That was really interesting, but I gotta be over there, you know. Or they're like genuinely like, you know. But like a physicist, they're not like that because they're like, I already know this is. I already know what reality is like. This motherfucker right here. But they're just the thing is from a physics standpoint. So going to consciousness, and I might have talked about this. I listened to my podcast a week ago, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was like, they weren't that bad in terms of like the audio quality. Like I need to enunciate. I need to talk into the mic more. I need to XYZ, you know. But it's okay because I'm doing it, and that's what matters. That I'm actually producing something to put out there to get the ball rolling. Because I'm just trying to get the ball rolling to get the momentum, get some kind of consistency. I definitely am recognizing that now that I'm publishing podcasts, not just like thinking about doing it. Now that I'm actually started doing it, I'm like, shit, it's been 10 days. I need to do another one. So it's like encouraging me. So it's good. But but if we picture the mind as being able to move in the mental universe, then if I think a certain thing, then it's almost like moving to that position in the mental universe, at least in that area of thought. Because just like the universe is infinite, so is the mind. So even if I'm thinking about like physics, I also have like a part of my mind that's like music, and then a part of my mind that's some other area, and like infinite parts which make up like a huge spectrum of a universe of like the mind, where each one is fed. So like if I don't speak any Russian, so Nostrovia, you know, like, so my Russian is like a dot, you know, a point particle, which is like nothingness. It's just like a void in my universe. But my English, you know, relatively speaking, is pretty built up. So it's got like substance to it. You know, I can form cohesive ideas that come together into things. So they're more like substantial, and in so being, they're more able to influence the environment. Like I couldn't be telling you this in Russian because I literally just don't speak Russian. So I'd be like, Nostrovia, do you understand the universe now? Did that make sense? But it's somehow saying that in Russian. Like, because I have the English, I can form the cohesive sentence, and then I can transmit it to you, and then it interacts with your consciousness. Because we're separate in a sense, even though all is one is all. So equally separate and equally one, equal and opposite. And then that idea, that concept, that idea, that information, because we were talking about information, the concept of like information being fundamental is really, it's just like ideas are substance in a mental universe that actually interact with our conscious mind. And so if I present this idea and it is made of substance and it comes to you, then there's different ways that you and it interact. it could be in a certain circumstance where like, okay, it's so far over my head that I don't even know what the fuck this dude's talking about. Like, say, quantum mechanics, and trying to explain it to like a 10-year-old, you know, like it just would be so far over their head that they just be kind of like, maybe they've been like invested lots of time into it already, and so they can kind of understand. But if they were just like completely in the like just on the spot, being exposed to it for the first time and not having like related information, it just goes right through them, in one ear and out the other, because we can't grab onto it. It has too much mass. It just passes by. Our mass can't influence it. It just passes by. But it can cause us to move in ways. Like, oh, that was interesting. I didn't really understand it, but that was interesting. So let me kind of go that way. Let me kind of see what's over there, and literally be pulled by the idea, the passing idea. I mean, there's things of that nature. Like, that's how consciousness functions in a physics sense. But then, so like gravity, so there's an actual, the mass of the idea, how much substance it's made of, has a mass, which then has a gravity, which then can pull things in to form like its field, like different ideas that pass through it. And then which brings in like children. So like going back to a field, like a child and an adult interaction can frequently be where the child will like go away, and then they'll come back, and they'll go away, like constantly, like back and forth, because they're coming literally in this field where they're going through, because they're like a new consciousness, so they're developing. So like the adult is mature in that it's developed a more massive consciousness on a certain plane of existence, because there's almost like a polar opposite. Like a child is more conscious in other ways that we as adults don't even appreciate, but an adult is more conscious in terms of like their awareness of just what is going on around them in some sense. And so because of that, basically their mental universe has a mass that is so much more massive than the young developing mind, that it can create literally like a magnetic field, a flow of where the adult isn't necessarily like going back and forth to the person, but rather the child is back and forth. Like there's a way that the relationship plays out that's not symmetrical, I guess I would. Whereas like if it's a romantic relationship, like it can be perhaps two bodies merging and becoming one in space, or like an orbital where there's like a constant equal steady distance of separation, or not so equal where it's more like a elliptical where the distance of separation changes over time but remains constant and cyclical overall, like an orbital, like an orbit. Someone corrected me, I said orbital, and they're like, that's quantum mechanics. Dude, orbitals predate quantum mechanics. Don't take concepts from something that significantly predates quantum mechanics and like make them quantum. Stop, guys. Like, what the fuck? AL at the end of orbit is totally within Newtonian terminology. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, but that's why the physics is important, to not only be thoroughly understood but accurate, Like, we can't just be like, let's apply general relativity to consciousness, because it's gonna be like, oh, at this point there's a singularity and this is like all this freaking crazy things going on, and also the Big Bang. Like, no, none of that is applicable to consciousness, because none of that's reality. Reality is applicable to consciousness. The physics of reality, of the physical world, that reality is applicable to the mental world, and not just some approximation. Maybe an approximation is approximately applicable within a range, and maybe we can kind of glean some stuff from it, but like, it's basically like saying 2 plus 2 is approximately 5. Like, it's just not. So, but this all applies to politics, you know, because essentially the connection of all of it. So, like, if I have, say, this pen, and I just want to balance it on my finger, I can, but it takes finding that center point, that balancing point, and the two sides. If I try to balance something on my finger and it's short, then if it's like pencil size, it can easily fall to one side. But if it's really long, I can kind of move my finger within a range, and it's still pretty much at the center, to the point where it's still balanced. And so if we really extend it outward and find the center point, which is essentially where we exist, which is oneness, that's the center. Oneness, that's where the balance point is at our oneness. And then the two extremes, which are basically like the balancing pole of reality that we hold at the center, at our oneness, we hold this balancing pole. The two extremes are nothingness and everything. And those two extremes, when held at the balancing pole and saying, well, neither of these, maybe maybe like in some like abstract way we can kind of like see how they're important and apply them to things, but like really what we want to hold on to is the center point of oneness, and completing the circuit between nothing and everything, to basically allow for like a peaceful calm to arise, for balance to arise, for an equilibrium, like the surface of a lake with no water moving this way and that because of all the wind and all the motions from wherever the water's being moved from. Just a nice peaceful calm surface with like true tranquility lingering, like that kind of circumstance. Apply that, like how that functions. Okay, maybe we don't want the freaking, oh shit, dude, I'm about to tip over. Maybe we don't want that extreme way of forming a society. Maybe we want like a balance, so that there is this almost like it creates like a dull not dulling, like dulling any force in either direction is just kind of dampened by this like this completed circuit from nothing to everything. And that's why it's important that it's completed. It can't just be from like one end of the pencil to the other, because it's gone. You can't keep the balance easily. But with a long enough spectrum, it basically becomes just like the perfect balancing. There's no losing balance when we're balanced at the oneness between nothing and everything. which basically is a spectrum. I mean, if you zoom in on it, it just kind of creates like a rainbow effect, and then white at the center. You just keep zooming in on it, stretching it out into more and more spectrum, and it's literally the spectrum of infinity, where within that exists the universe itself, infinity itself. Which is why it's important to look at this also from different angles. So I'm saying, like, it's really vital that we focus on, like, the oneness. This is where the balance exists, like long-term balance. Because if we focus on nothing, everything comes from nothing. Because there is this element going on where underneath it all, nothing exists. And that's really, like, fundamental. Really fundamental. The most fundamental. The most fundamental truth. Nothing exists. Well, that's real dark, guys. Real dark. Like, what about God? So you're saying God doesn't really exist. You're saying I don't exist. I'm existing. I mean, I'm existing saying nothing exists. Clearly, that's wrong. And yet, that's where science will take us. Is that nothing exists. And that from nothingness, the existence of nothingness, the void, the source, the whatever, the unknowable. Because I don't want to just call it nothing. I recognize it's less than nothing. It's the unknowable, and also in so being, it is all that exists. It's everything, and so it has that. Without the duality of nothingness, nothing would exist. What the fuck, man? Wait. Tough. That's why we exist, though. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing is dualistic in nature. It just is. If nothing wasn't dualistic, then nothing would exist. But then it would be dualistic, so because it would be everything that existed, and so it would be both of these things, and there's no way around it. That's why it's so fundamental, and it's simple. It is simple. It's not like God was like, let me think about this. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and meticulously planned out every nuanced little detail of every motion in the infinite cosmos, or nothing. Just the existence of nothing necessitates infinity manifesting. And that's just how it goes. Inclusive of God, though, which is crazy. And then there's the other side of things, where we can look at it from the all. Like, okay, well, I'm all. Like, I know I'm everything. I'm unlimited. There's no boundary between me and everything else. Even though, like, sensorily I perceive it, it's an illusion, and I recognize it, and I can, in some sense, understand what it may feel like to look at things from that angle and look over at this nothingness perspective and be like, dude, what is real is I am. Okay? I am the all. That I am. I am, not I'm not. I'm not, I kinda am, you know. But then there's also this side of things. I am what? I am, period? What about I am silence? Which, what does silence say? It says nothing. You know, like, maybe also I am nothing is within that, in a sense, because it's in everything. Nothing is everything, and everything is nothing. But But like I could see being in that perspective, because I mean I've had that. I always look at it from different angles, and that's what I was getting at as the spectrum. Like we can look at something and not just be like, okay, so this way, like this is this way. That's like one perspective, but we can live one life and look at things from many angles. So like we don't have to maintain like one exact way. Like this is the thing that I'm gonna look at this way. Nothing exists, and that's fundamental, and that's that. But like that's only one angle of looking at the situation. Like we need to look at this just like an object. Like if I want to look at this cup, I should probably look at this cup from many angles if I really want to get a grasp of the dimensions and like the essence of the cup. If I just look at it from one angle, I mean, maybe I'll kind of get it, but it depends on what I see, you know. So to look at it from many angles just gives us a better perspective of what nothing truly is, which is also that it's everything, and that I'm nothing and I am everything and you're nothing and you're everything. We're all one. Like that's why the we are all one part I feel is so important, because that is where the balance between the two of nothing and everything is where we are. Like this is where we're at. We're in the reality where we're all one. That's what we're experiencing, even if it doesn't seem that way. That's what we're experiencing. And I don't know what's happening. Let's be honest, I don't know what the fuck. If I really went through my experiences and was honest, I don't know what the fuck's happening. Because I can't do that. I can't just be like, and by the way, let me tell you about this one thing. I kind of look at it like, and I talk about this in my book, the order of operations. So I mention you can't come up with differential calculus without understanding first arithmetic. Like one precedes the other, and what is of utmost importance, like the only thing that really matters in all of arithmetic, besides just like the understanding of the basic functions of like plus and minus and so on, is the order of operations. And I feel that in order to present information to you guys in a way where I don't just like lose everyone in the things that I have to say, I have to at least kind of like, all right, I won't talk about that yet. Not that I won't, just not yet. Because people don't understand. Or they do. That's the crazy part, is I just don't know if people understand. Because I just never will know if this is a movie or not. People are just fucking with me. You guys are all fucking with me on some underlying level, which is really me fucking with myself. Even if you say you're not. That's the crazy thing. It doesn't matter what anyone tells me, because I've already seen what I've seen, and I continue. It's not like it stops. You know, someone will be like, oh no, that's not happening, and then like 4 days later I'm like, what the fuck was that interaction? Oh my god. But I don't think it's happening. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I've mentioned this already. The concept that I just see it, that people are in tune with my thoughts. I mean, some more than others, and some seem like so in tune that they, in their like day-to-day experience, are actually able to like hear people's thoughts. I mean, I've had that experience, which is fucking crazy. I don't know. Because I don't have that life. I kind of I wonder sometimes if like there's like a half of the population that's just straight like doesn't necessarily like think in the same way, but thinks more in like a receptive way. Almost like a matter antimatter, like trying to like they already understand enough that they just don't need to like think, so their mind can be like at ease, which then allows for like brain waves from other minds to just like come in, and like their antenna picks it up and like, what was that thought? And then like fine tune it over time and figure out how to actually do it and understand it better. I mean, if we're able to do it, there's a society that does it already, and maybe they're here on such a vast scale that then they just don't say anything about that. I mean, they say shit. Oh, yes. Oh, so some subtle shit that makes me like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, so there's always that side of things where even like in my day-to-day interactions, I'll just like assume that that's not happening a lot of times, and so I can actually function. But you know, sometimes I'm not that way, and it really gets awkward. It's hard for me to interact with people sometimes because I don't know what the fuck's happening, and so here I am saying I don't know what's happening because there's so much shit going on, you know. I definitely, the more I learn, the less I know, you know? It's definitely reality. It's kind of like a body grows and then the space around it grows exponentially more. Like in terms of like a star, and then think about nothingness in terms of, again, going back to this nothingness and everything. So I kind of, even though I say nothingness is one end and then everything is the other, like zero and infinity. But another way to do that would be zero is like a point, and then infinity as every other point. And so zero going out to infinity is like every point around it. And then there's a balance point between them becomes essentially a sphere, a hollow sphere, by the way, not just a sphere, because just like that balance, like zero, infinity, balance point, and then there's like a gap, there's like region of low density, if you will, around between them, and then at the center is where like the essence of what is exists, and the further away, the more it's like shaded and shadowy and dark and less like cohesive and more ethereal. But that's only one dimensional. If we look at it from zero to infinity, like infinite dimensions, it basically becomes a line in infinite dimensions, and that is a star in a way. And the boundary between zero and the infinite points, the nothingness of the center of that system and the infinite points creates the sphere of the body, which is like, say, Earth, and it represents within it the balance between zero and infinity, where neither are where reality is. Zero is like the void at the center of the earth. That's not where life exists. If anything exists there, it's an inner star due to the rotation of the earth, which then produces figure 8 flow orbitals of particles through the earth, which then collectively as like an ethereal river flow together and merge at the center. And why was I talking about that? Shit, guys, I need to talk to someone so I'm not just like losing track so easily. Like, what was I just talking about? Could you just, oh yeah, that's right, thanks, dude. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and blah 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 blah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's like the boundary between zero and infinity, infinite dimensions, because the universe is infinite dimensional also. In like this way, in this way, in every way. In every way. Infinite dimensional. And so a way to represent that is really just like a star from a central point zero and then infinite dimensional lines outward to all of the infinite angles that the light radiates. But yeah, if the Earth rotated, it would produce an electromagnetic field, which would then merge at the center. That's what I was talking about, and produce an inner star. But life wouldn't exist there. That would be like a a a star for a inner surface of the hollow Earth, which would then allow for maybe some kind of life to exist on the inner surface, the D2 layer or something, the thing prime layer, some layer at the edge of the mantle, which is very mountainous. And but it's really like the boundary, the oneness is where the life is, not at the center. The life is at the shell, at the firmament, if you will. And not at the center and not at the distant nothingness either. It's really at that balance point, at the boundary. And that is representative of the oneness of everything. that's where the the essence of life exists, where all of the beauty and the variety and the spice of life, all of the variety, the whole spectrum of reality really exists at that boundary. Which is interesting to think about also. So this concept that if a planet is not rotating, if any body in space is not rotating, it's not going to pull the ether into a figure 8 orbital, so it's not going to have a magnetic field, so it's not going to have, at least not a detectable one, relative to if it were to be rotating, at least. And so maybe if it's not rotating, there's nothing at the center that's even like radiating. But once it starts to rotate, which I find interesting, is it leads to this inner star at the source point, at the nothingness point, at the 0 point. It's not at the infinity point, it's at the origin, at the center, which is essentially 0, which is connected to all the infinite other points. It's at the 0 center point where the star forms when the rotation happens, the inner star. Sorry, I know I'm probably losing a lot of people to talk about that kind of stuff, but it's just just what's going on. And so when it rotates, it produces an inner star at the source, which then gives life to an entirely different society, which then maybe comes out to the outer surface of the earth and influences it because they know their nature. Because, I mean, if there's anyone, like, guiding us, they're probably not far. They're just pretending to be far, Like, oh, yeah, we're way out in the fucking galaxy. Well, yeah, for sure, guys. We're definitely not inside the Earth. Yeah. That's what I think. But anyway, but what I think about though is that the rotation. So what can rotation be likened to? Like if I were to be spending my whole life focusing on how to best write the letter S. So every day long, I'm just writing S. Okay. I mean, I really think I've worked out how to form the S better. So what I'm doing is I'm literally focusing on like one point. So if you can imagine like a body in space and it's focused on one point, it's like it's tightly locked. So it's not rotating. It's just kind of like. Whereas if a body in space is rotating, then it's not focused on one point. It's moving around. It's looking at things. Okay. So I learned how to write the S yesterday. I just spent, 4 seconds on it because I'm not, insane when I spent a whole life learning how to better write the letter S. But now I want to do something else. And now I want to do something else. And now I want to do something else. And over, looking at thing after thing after thing and coming back to it, not just like leaving it, just like an orbital. Or just like a rotating planet coming back to it. Sunrise, 7 a.m. again. 7 a.m. again. 7 a.m. again. We're coming back. But we're still changing. Now it's 8 a.m. Now it's 9 a.m. Now it's 10 a.m. Now it's 11. Now it's 7 a.m. Now I'm looking at physics. Now I'm looking at consciousness. Now I'm looking at the plate tectonics and the Earth history, and now I'm looking at psychology. Now I'm looking at Bible prophecy. Now I'm looking at history. Now I'm looking at current events. Now I'm looking at blah, blah, blah. Now I'm looking at physics, and back and forth. And so the more we do that, the more we rotate, the more perhaps we can kind of form like a inner star that then can light our world, if you will, or light our inner world. Light our inner world. I like that, because that's what's happening. And it also is at that center point of nothingness. So there is something to nothingness, to the void, to the source, to the unknowable. There is something to it. Not to be just like dismissed offhandedly and be like, all is one, I'm God, we're all omnipotent and we're good. We don't need nothing. We created nothing because we wanted nothing to exist, because that's how omnipotent we are. I'm fucking God, motherfucker. Yo, you think I can't create nothing? I created everything else, and you think I can't create nothing? Come on, bruh. Yeah, God, I kind of do. There's nothing outside of God, I like to say. Nothing outside of God. And there's no way to say that without saying that there is nothing outside of God. Like, they're not the same. Like, it exists regardless of God's existence. Like, they're not really quite one. There's this like 0 and 1, like binary element to what's going on, where they're not really coalescing as being one in a way. Because God wants to be God, probably. God's like, yo, man, I get why I came from nothing, but I'm eternal, bro. I'm eternal. I've lived forever. You think I give a fuck that I came from nothing? I'm God, bro. I'm always gonna be God, and doesn't change shit. That's what God's saying, not me. That's God. So, God doesn't really care, but, there is something to be said. That's all I'm saying. of the essence of nothingness and how it is perhaps gives birth to everything. It is like the womb from which infinity was born. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Guys, when I say that like an ass, I mean it though. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. How many times have we lived this life, you know? Infinite. I like to say that no one can ever eternally die because infinity is unlimited and it can't be limited. Like for someone to just die that existed and then to never ever in eternity exist again would be pretty limited, you know? Literally. And universe ain't limited. So this has probably happened probably like 4 or 5 times before at least, you know. I don't want to extrapolate out too far, you know. Like I see a pattern and maybe sometimes I take that pattern a little too far and I say therefore let's jump to this conclusion over here that definitely makes sense as a matter of fact, and you guys just don't appreciate it. But hey, I'm jumping to conclusions, I swear to God. All things are relative, you know. If I take a big step, let's say I take a step, doop, 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 and then some fucking ant comes along and he's like, this motherfucker took a big ass step, bruh. Did you not understand? In order to move, you must take tiny steps. Tiny, 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 tiny. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get real far that way, ant. Real far. You know, like, oh no, I fucking was wrong about something. Like, my life is ruined. My reputation. Like, dude, that's not what this shit's about. I want to know, motherfuckers. So I'm going to take the steps that I think are warranted based on my calculations and interpretations and considerations and the things that I am accounting for, because, you know, I can't account for everything unless maybe, oh yeah, I did account for everything, I think, by accounting for nothing, which is everything. But in a more like literal sense of everything, where there's like countless observations. Of course I can't. Of course. Like I was telling the guy last night, he's like, or today, one of the guy I talked to last night on the Eric Weinstein's Discord. I was talking to him today and he's like, well, I read your paper. First of all, I have way more writing than this like very snippet of, it's literally a theory for how gravity causes electromagnetic fields. Theory. It's not like, let me like beat around the bush a little bit and kind of butter you up with some little tidbits. It's just like boom. All right, guys, this is what I'm thinking, guys. What do you think? And they're and he's like, you should do this, and starts giving me suggestions of things that I should add. Which, guys, I say this in my book. At some point, it's the burden is on you motherfuckers, not on me. I can't do everything. I would like to. Maybe I can indirectly since I am everything. So like, maybe all these like brain waves are coming out of me I don't even understand, and there's like, whoa, and I'm like freaking manipulating everything and I don't even know it. You think that's that? You think I can do that? Because I don't think. Maybe on some subconscious level where I'm just not me anymore. You know, like this me, like this fucking dude. but like not this me, you know. This me, I can't do everything. I've done a fuck ton, guys. I've done several lifetimes of shit already in terms of scientific progression. So how about you cut me some slack here and maybe try to work with me? You know, like that's where I'm getting at. Like, can we fucking work together, guys? Maybe like, yeah, give me some respect and appreciate that maybe I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about and not just dismiss me offhandedly because that's what I'm getting, guys. And it sucks because you motherfuckers don't know. Just don't know. Don't know what I've done for this shit. Have you done that? I didn't think so. That's what I'm saying. You know, I put my money where my mouth was. I put my all where my mouth was. And I'm still doing it. I'll die for this shit. Sorry, guys. I will die for this. I don't give a shit. I mean, I give a shit. But I'm gonna go forward knowing that someday some motherfucker's not gonna like me. And that motherfucker... it's probably gonna be legion, you know, not one. It's gonna be many. But I do what I do because I give a shit. And because, you know, I also have been, you know, kind of like, hey, guy, don't worry too much about what might happen. Because, you know, life is not quite as it appears. Because, you know, I'm trying to start literally a fucking revolution, guys. Here's the information. All is one. How about let's input that into the foundation of how we form government and go ahead and start to change things. And that's also on the individual. Like, we can't put everything on like them or them or them. Like, it's on all of us. We're all equally responsible, which means I gotta take care of my shit. And that sucks because I don't want to. What I want to do is talk about physics. But hey, such is life, huh? It would be cool if I had some income that was consistent from my work. Because I deserve it. I'm going to start a Patreon. I don't really like the concept of a Patreon because it has a middleman. Basically taking a cut off all these people trying to make a living. And I get it, you're trying to make a living too, and you're offering the service, and I get it, but you know, guys, we gotta stop freaking nickel and diming each other. You know, Wikipedia, which I have never donated to, they don't force anyone to pay. They just are like, hey guys, we need some fucking money now. Every article is like, hey, you want to donate? Until they like are like, all right, we got enough money, you know. And of course Wikipedia is a little different since it's like a knowledge thing that their service is just information, whereas Patreon, like, money flows through them. So I get it. It's just I don't think in the long term middleman kind of strategies are necessarily optimal. It's just someone taking a cut, usually an unfair cut because of circumstantial reasons. oh, I'm in a better position than you, so I'm gonna invest a very small fraction of my money and buy everything, and good luck. Oh shit. Also, we're going to print money so that the money that you have now and that you make in the future will be worth less. Good luck. As we systematically and without any apparent compassion or empathy or understanding of, human struggle, I just relentlessly fuck people and take a cut over and over and make excuses. Oh, we need it for this and that, guys, and we're in the position where we can just take it, so we're gonna. Did I mention I'm a mafia with a nice little bow tie? Yeah, glorified mafia. It's what a government is, just like a religion is a glorified cult. They're the same thing, if one's got like a bad stigma, cult, oh, it's culty. So's a religion. It's just accepted cult because it's so widespread that it's just like we all agree to be that way on a large enough scale that it's like, all right, let's have some, have some empathy, have some understanding, see the other person's perspective. Okay, maybe I don't have all this Jesus stuff is a little much, but freedom. But a cult, you're in a cult? Did this dude just tell me that he's in a cult? What cult? Wait, so you worship some dude? Why? 'Cause you read it in a book? Dude. This motherfucker! Like it's literally just a glorified, accepted version of something that's not made it through the barrier. Because it's kind of like there's going to be a barrier. It's like an activation energy, necessary input to cause a reaction to proceed. And so once they broke through that barrier, it just freaking saturated everything. And now it's just, I mean, and it's bad. It's not good. It's not good when there are islands where like 99% of the population is Christian. Islands. Not in the Middle East where Christianity was actually originating, but islands in the Caribbean that were conquered by Christian conquerors who then killed anyone who didn't submit to their way of thinking. 100% success rate in like Puerto Rico and all this place. And then these people, I don't want to say anything bad. Like, I'm sorry when I say these people. But then their descendants are like, oh, you killed my ancestors? Yeah, I'll believe what you wanted me to believe, but they didn't want to believe is why you killed them. Absolutely. And it's fucking like the most devout place, and there's lots of... It's crazy. Guys. That's something. Seriously, I highly recommend looking into the percentage of religions in countries, and especially in islands, because that's where it's easiest to conquer someone, where there's only so much land. Oh, did you get surrounded and have nowhere to go? Oh, good fucking luck. But on, continental U.S., it's a pretty big spot to, surround someone. So it's a little more difficult to literally conquer everyone. So, it's not 100% in other places. It's high. It's like 50 or whatever, but it's not so dominant that it's clearly the entire society was conquered. The only way to describe it is just utter conquering and just stomping on their way of living and just killing everyone who didn't submit and just pontificating that Christ has come and hallelujah, and all those who don't believe are going to hell. Come on, guys. We're all one. Like, going to hell. That's a good one, though. It's a good one. It's a nice little control mechanism. You'll spend eternity in damnation if you don't submit to this way of thought. Man, that is... Guys. See, Islam gets bashed all the time. Judaism, Christianity, they're kind of off limits. Not for me. I'll fucking talk about any religion. I don't give a fuck. Let me tell you guys. This land was promised to the Jews by God. Real fucking quote from the head of the Jewish settlement, like whoever is settling the West Bank in Israel, is in Palestine. Sorry, I don't want to call it Israel just because someone created a country by the imposing of their will on the people there, called it Israel, and then formed a government, built a wall, and kind of just systematically shoved the people who live there out into the corner in the wilderness, took all their land, destroyed their buildings, and then resettled on top of them. This land was promised to the Jews by God. A land that we don't even know if it's in that place was promised to the Jews by God. That pretty much sums up what's wrong with what's going on in the Middle East. And it's a complex circumstance because there's a lot of shit going on. Why is there a country named Israel in the Middle East formed on top of Palestine? Okay, let's go back. Well, the World War II, Holocaust, they needed their own country. That's why, right? Holocaust, they needed their own country. That's why. Well, did the Palestinians kill the Jews in the Holocaust? Why is it their land that's being taken? Oh, because you said so. Oh, I see. So you're just fucking doing it, huh? Oh, to fulfill Bible prophecy. See, that's what's going on, guys. That's what's going on. Some motherfuckers waiting for Jesus to return in the clouds, to rapture them into safety because they don't want to deal with the tribulations of all the bullshit that's fucking happened from lots of fucking Christian decisions. Not saying only Christian, but definitely Christian decisions. So why are Christians being raptured? What the fuck is happening? Are you guys sure about that? Are you sure it's not a bunch of bullshit that you were fed to believe? Because let's look around, guys. The world is not in peace. There is chaos all over the place. Any day now, freaking US and China could be at war, it seems. Any day now, Pakistan and what is it? India could be at war. I mean, there's all North Korea, Russia. There's all this shit going on, and you never know what the hell Turkey's gonna do. You definitely never know what the fuck Israel's gonna do. Who's backed by the United States? Pretty much just like a freaking arm of the United States government, even though the U.S. is kind of an arm of Israel, really. In the reality of the situation, we're just Israel's bitch at this point. Yeah. What did you want, Israel? Oh, please. May I help you? Please, Israel. We will be of service. Is there anything else that we can do for you? Please just ask. Please. Sincerely, all U.S. citizens who 100% agree with us supporting you, killing people just because it's your land, and also we don't want to look like anti-Semites because I don't agree with killing genocide people with all these freaking gases in these gas chambers. You can't be killing the Jews, guys. We gotta give them their own country. By the way, history is written by the victors. Don't forget that. Don't let them tell you that, oh no, today we're just honest. We're just honest about everything. Everything we say is honesty. Did you see how honest I was yesterday? I was perfectly honest. History is written by the victors. Everything. If you aren't saying what the people in power want you to say, then your voice is going to be systematically attacked. There's going to be organizations that will form that will take you down for fucking saying a word about the circumstances that we never will talk about again because they were so traumatic and just traumatizing. Guys, can we just talk about it? Because, before the Holocaust, there was a movement to form Israel. Balfour Declaration. Constant. It's constant. Clearly, what is happening? Let me tell you what's happening. People are fulfilling Bible prophecy in their own minds in a way that they want to then convince everyone else that those Bible prophecies are fulfilled and therefore that Jesus is returning. It's basically like a specific ideology is so driving the nature of our society that we don't even notice it. It's so endemic, is that the right word? It's so ingrained in things that there is this movement. It's crazy to fucking fulfill Bible prophecy because, we must prepare the way for the return of Jesus. And so they literally try to fulfill the Bible prophecies. But what they do is they'll take a verse, whichever verse they want to fulfill, and they'll find parts of it. And they'll be like, okay, if we do this, that will kind of look this way. Seriously. They'll fucking plan it based on the prophecies, and then they'll later point to the prophecies. But, did you see how this prophecy was fulfilled in this way, this way, this way, this way? And how Israel is therefore prophesied, and we saw in 1947 the fulfillment of prophecy when the nation of Israel was created. Did you see how that happened? Just because you form a country on top of an already existing country, regardless of what you think of the people's culture and the way they perceive reality, it's just nomadic. They don't have a country. They just live in there and stuff. So it doesn't count because they don't have a structure that is like ours. and like that's also Israel, and we're just gonna take it. We're just gonna just take it. Just get the fuck out of here. Get. It's fucked up, guys. And then the Holocaust happened intentionally, not by the history that we're told, but for the purpose of forming Israel, so that the global society at large would just be like, yeah, maybe they deserve a country. After all, they were just genocidally massacred by this freaking crazy man who just, for whatever unknown reason, just hated them maliciously and without any. He's just crazy and evil. Or maybe some shit's going on and someone's trying to form a country and have an excuse and use someone as a patsy, Adolf Hitler, and use circumstances. Well, I don't really give a fuck about the Jews, so we'll just use them. There's lots of Jews. We got lots of Jews. We need the Jews in Israel because we need Jews in Israel. So we don't want to kill all the Jews, but we don't really care, just as long as like enough Jews come to over time populate the area so that like it's Jewish, no Muslims are here over time, of course, because they're all terrorists. They don't fucking believe in Jesus, because it's not Jews. That's the thing. It's not even the Jews doing it. It's the fucking Christians. Not the Christians, but Christians. Someone's like, okay, well, the Messiah has not come because I'm Jewish. They're not like, okay, well, we need to prepare the way for Jesus because that's what the New Testament says. No. They're just like, Mashiach. Praying at the Western Wall for a return of Mashiach, And it's like, well, they're not trying to bring Jesus back. Someone is. Someone's looking at Bible prophecy, trying to fulfill it to bring Jesus back. But what they're doing is exactly the opposite. They're like creating such a chaotic world that it's so chaotic. And not because like, oh, look how great we've done it. We've created chaos and so order can now come. That like, it necessitates like a change must happen because it's so fucked right now. Economically, nothing is sustainable in the way that we function as a society. How we even made it here is only because like not that long ago, there weren't that many people. Like if we were at 7 billion, 8 billion people for like a long time, not sustainable. That's when shit is just getting worse and worse and worse because it's not sustainable. Not the people, the way that we function. Because a lot of people are like, well, the solution is just fucking kill everyone. Rather than lifting a finger to change anything that we do, we'll just get rid of some fucks who are wasting resources that aren't me because I don't care about them. Well, fuck them. They're over there. They live in that part of the world. I don't know them. They're just not me, okay? I don't care. And they are taking shit that I might have at some point wanted to use, I just don't like it when they take things that I might have maybe at some point used or maybe not. I really deserve the right to maybe not use the thing that they're now using. And it's gonna be gone because there's too many fucking people. So mass genocide is okay. And there's fucking people out there who are genuinely saying, well, maybe we need some population control. Maybe we do, guys. Guys, we really need some population control. There's fucking people out there who are genuinely thinking it through. How do we control the population? How do we limit the population? maybe fertility. Let's make them infertile. We'll just make a little village over here, infertile, test out the product. No one will know they're just third world country. I don't give a shit. We'll maybe fucking give them some water or something, you know, shut them up. Fucking bitches. Oh, my child died because you put the fucking vaccine in him, and shut up, you fucking child ass bitches. I don't give a fuck about them, because I'm doing what's best for the world, killing people. In mass. You know, just fucking billions. And not even just killing, but preventing future births. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Never mind, I'm an asshole about it and killing everyone. You know, maybe that being as evil as possible. You know, fuck that part, cause you know, I've really thought it through from every possible angle, and I've determined the only solution is mass genocide. Like, what the fuck, guys? How about not population control? Like, I get it. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people, maybe. But, like, okay. Let's work this out. How about let's not fucking... Alright, let's just cut off a limb over here, and that'll probably be fine. You know, that's kind of what's happening. Let's just cut off some part of our body. Let's chop it off. I don't know what it does, so what the fuck do I care? Oh, my appendix doesn't do anything. Yeah. I don't know what it does. All this junk DNA. Fucking junk DNA. This shit don't do shit. Fucking look at his DNA being all fucking wasteful. Oh, it's got some parts that I kind of maybe have some inkling of understanding of what's going on here. But all this other shit is literally just wasteful. It's just, why is it there? I don't understand it, so therefore it makes no sense, you know. Guys. So anyway. But there's people out there that think that way, and then also are in these positions where they can do shit. And they're like, hey guys, let's have this little meeting between us powerful motherfuckers, and we'll just kind of... They don't need to know about it, because we're doing what's best for society at large, because we're the guys with the power, you know. We make the tough decisions to kill everyone, you know. And that's... It's hard on me. Like, what is... I would love to be in one of those meetings and be like... So, what do you guys think about bombing Iraq? Maybe we'll just drop a tactical nuke in Yemen. No one will know, because we won't talk about it. Simple. What the fuck, guys? Oh my god, Yemen. Speaking of Yemen, that's a whole nother thing. Saudi Arabia, just fucking despicable. Oh my god, guys. That is perhaps the worst rapidly accelerating human what's the word I'm looking for? Not tragedy. Just worst fucking treatment of people. They're just bombing Yemen mindlessly, killing civilians. The Saudi Arabian army isn't really trained, so they just kind of like buy expensive shit because they have all this money from oil. So they just buy weapons from the United States and use them, and without really fully understanding what they're even using, and then they just bomb the shit out of just like a fucking school and mass genocide yet some more, and then they kind of write it off. And if Yemen dares fight back, Yemen's been feisty. I gotta give it to Yemen. Not to say that I support fighting, but you know, when you're getting fucked in the ass like they are, you know, at some point, it's understandable, because they're basically Saudi Arabia is just like, there's so much shit going on. Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, at one point, I mean, and soon to be the king of Saudi Arabia whenever his father dies, assuming there's not some like fucking Game of Thrones level shit going on, because there is. That's what's crazy. Saudi Arabia, interesting. If you guys don't know much about it, it is like a Game of Thrones shit going on there. Just like deceit and deception and all this shit. And but most recently, the last king that died, the way the king works, if I remember right, is it passes from brother to brother, and then the last brother in succession, so like younger brother, older brother to younger brother from a certain family, and a certain the king and a specific wife, because the king has several wives, I believe, depending on the king. King Saud had several wives, and that led Saud being the origin of Saudi Arabia, the guy who created Saudi Arabia out of like the nomadic tribes in the area or whatever. It's like conquered them. That dude, his families are basically like rotated so as to keep peace amongst the families. But most recently, and this is fucking huge, like in terms of, it just completely went against the way they do things, and people are not happy about it, because it's basically one family shoving the rest of the families out. And the King Saud had Salman bin Salman family, I guess, through a specific wife somehow. I don't know what the relationship is exactly, but it went brother, 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 and now the last brother that is now king, once he became king, he changed the order. He was like, I know we said that like after me that things would be this way, where after me it's this brother, but I'm going to decree now that the next in succession is my son, and totally went against the cycle. And so that place is like on the edge of just they're just a little bit of knowledge away from a revolution in Saudi Arabia. That's what they are. Because it's Islam. Islam is very, although it's kind of perceived and presented as barbaric in a lot of ways, and the Quran does have several barbaric kind of quotes in it. But the thing is, I read the Quran, and my immediate reaction to the Quran is, this is not like the Bible or the New Testament, in that, to me, it's not written as a book so much as in the same way. It's more directed, like the lines like that. It seems almost like it's directed writing, and then it's, in certain instances, like it's specifically talking to someone. It's because of the way it's written. But those instances also, I mean, that may just be because I read a certain version, because I don't read Arabic, so I read English translation, and that translation, and the ones that because I mean, there's multiple. It's a little less translated into English than the Bible is, so there's not as many translations. I read one where the guy thought he was the Mahdi, and he was killed for it, because Muslims don't like people claiming to be the Mahdi. Which is the guided one, is what it means. Which is like their Messiah at the end times, in essence, if you will. And Anyway, so maybe he wrote it as if it was that way, but it seemed written like it was directed. It like concepts, so specific sections that talk about some form of fighting, and it's just like we can't take things on face value. God is in everything, but like peace, equality, oneness, like unity, certain principles and ideas, freedom, things that we should recognize, like all of us, in order for any of us to have, all of us must have. What was I saying? Yeah, like to read the Quran without those concepts as hinges, I can see how it leads to extreme terrorist kind of mentality. But the thing is, like, it's not like they're unprovoked, It's not like they're just sitting there one day. It's like, man, life is awesome, but I fucking hate those Americans arbitrarily, not because of anything. I just because they're not me. That's all. There's no other reason. I definitely only hate them because I'm just a flawed individual fundamentally, and it's just me, and it's largely stemming from that I am Muslim, like that kind of thing. I don't remember what I was saying. I'm not Muslim, although I do associate with Islam because I read everything. And I believe Islam, which means submission, is it's a good premise to at least be like, yeah, actually, I can see why one would think that submission to the will of God is maybe something we could agree on, rather than be like, fuck them. But so the Bible, in certain translations, and that's the thing, certain translations says basically Jesus is God, and Jesus, and certain translations capitalize certain words, like a P prophet capitalized. It wasn't before, it's not in the original language, but hey, fuck it, because we know what it meant. It was talking about Jesus, who we got to give him respect. Amen. Capital P, baby. Like, that's not how translation works. That's how interpretation works. Translation, guys. That's what I don't like about the King James version. Especially, it's just like the version that's just rife with fuck. What the fuck were you guys thinking translations? I mean, I know what they were thinking. They were thinking Jesus is God. Jesus is everything. He's the Messiah. He returned. He's coming again. And we'll write it into everything. Every single possible cranny of this Bible, we will slightly twist and manipulate the language to encourage you to arrive at the final conclusion that Jesus is God and you should worship him and he will return to save you. And what you need to do is to basically have faith in him and give yourself over to him. Sounds like an idol, because it is, guys, because it fucking is. Literally the epitome of an idol. Have no gods before me kind of idol. Like, guys, God is all. The Bible doesn't come with an instruction manual. It doesn't say, hey, this is what this meant. I know this sounded kind of confusing here, so let me elaborate with a little more detail so that you can make sense of what was actually meant. No, it just fucking is. That's why it's important to have hinges. First hinge, all is one. God is everything. If you read the Bible without that as a hinge, good fucking luck. Good luck, guy. I mean, you'll get stuff, and I mean, you'll move in a direction. And if it's only one version, if it's only the King James version, oh my god, good luck, dude. Good fucking luck. Especially if you start reading as a child and like willingly accept it without really considering it. All I say to anyone like that is, first of all, I'm sorry for being an asshole about it. And secondly, I highly recommend looking at Bible Hub and just looking through all the verses in as many translations as possible. Any verse that you feel like, for instance, the love of money is the root of all evils. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not Bible. No, it's not King James Version. Okay, which is held in esteem. It's like the one. If you but it all ties in though. Bible prophecy. So like Holocaust, there's a in Ezekiel, for instance, I've seen Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, at least he was. I don't know what the fuck he's doing anymore. Is he still there? How is he not fucking in prison for the shit he's been doing? Not that I think prison is what anyone should be in, but like, that dude's corrupt. He's known to be corrupt. The reason he's not in prison is because he's basically like promoting the agenda of Israel, and so no one gives a fuck that he's just like, no. The method used matters. Israel's very much squashes out anything. So like they have Gaza Strip, fucking disgusting, guys. Disgusting. It's a strip of land that is a prison to an entire people, because they're landlocked on the outer edge by Israel, completely shut off by Israel, and maybe one small border to Egypt, and then along the coast they're not allowed off the coast. Israel's like, nah son, this is our water. You don't get any supplies from these waters unless we let them through, motherfucker. That shit is so fucked up. And then they bomb them, and then these people are like starving, because they have no fucking supplies, because they're just getting starved out. And so they find some bombs, probably because Israel fucking gives them to them. Like, yeah, did you want some shitty rocket launchers to kind of just shoot over there? Did you want some pieces of shit that won't hit anything? Because maybe you can hit that, it'll take some of that like aggression out. And then, maybe we'll bomb a school, but, we got to retaliate. We can't let you think that you can just shoot bombs over into our woods without ramifications. We'll just a couple bombs, dude. Just a few airplanes drop. Oh, maybe we missed the target a little bit, but they were digging tunnels. We can't have them avoiding our barricade. That would defeat the whole purpose of us barricading them, so they don't have any fucking resources. Like, we must starve them out. So fucking no. No way can you dig a tunnel, you fucking cunt. Like, really, guys? We're allowing this to happen. Do you understand? Israel, Yemen, Turkey, Syria. Everywhere. And a big part of it is on us. And by us, I mean the United States. Speaking as an American. Like, we gotta get our shit together and stop supporting fucking war. Because what we're really supporting, again, this is a Christian nation. What we're really supporting the ones who are moving fucking mountains by their like devotion to their belief system, who's the most devoted? Second most devoted is someone who has the epitome of an idol as their god, because they have a god. It's just the epitome of an idol, so it's not really powerful, but it's still a god, so it drives them. First most powerful, though, even more powerful than someone with an idol for a god, is someone with a god for a god. That's the truth, guys. God is all. All is one. And we can't be killing each other over stupid shit because we're literally living in ignorance. Like, can we just talk about this first before we go killing everyone? Like, maybe we can work this out a little bit. I think the real solution is new technology. Because a big part of the issue is we're just like, we need more energy. We're kind of like fiending because we want to grow, we want to, but we've reached like as much as we can grow with the energy sources that we have. And by energy sources, I mean like technology, like computers, literal energy sources like fossil fuels, solar panels. We need new technology, and maybe none of this can be solved by talking, and the real solution is by real new change that is technology. And that's why it would be nice if I could get my research going and funded and supported by others than myself. It's not like I'm not doing it. 6.5 years, my dime, motherfuckers. Like, I'm doing it, but I need help. Because, like, I got ideas. I really think that we can extract energy from gravity. And I think I know how. It's just, like, to actually physically create those things and test them are beyond the scope of my current capacity. Simple as that. Not because I'm some piece of shit that doesn't like know how to do anything. It's just metal work. Like the things people expect. I'm like, guys, I got fucking experiments. I got actual experimental ideas that can be tested easy as fuck. We don't need some new Large Hadron Colliding fucking part 7, like, well, we'll build it using just the size of the solar system. It'll have to be like a tiny, really thin, narrow tube that's solar system size so that we only use about 20% of the Earth's material. And then we'll have a nice particle collider where we can test whether or not there's a buon. Because I'm really starting to think there's buon, guys. Have you guys considered the buon? Is that a thing? It's probably a fucking thing. I know there's a muon, so there's probably a buon. There's a gluon, there's a duon, fuon. I don't fucking know on. But I mean, if we don't have a solar system size collider, we'll never know if there's a buon or not. And we need to know, guys. No, not that kind of experiment where it's just fucking extracting like real substantial amounts of resources from society to test some bullshit fucking clearly wrong theory. 3 theories, 1 reality, 9. And I don't mean 9 like fucking the number 9. I mean 9 like the German no, motherfucker. No. 3 theories, 1 reality. What is this, the Trinity? Get the fuck out of here. All is 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1. I'm just, let's see. I don't really know. I gotta be careful I don't get too aggressive with Israel, because I like I said before, I spent 3 months there. I don't know about you guys. Have you ever spent three months there? Okay, I didn't think so. Just checking. Because I mean, a lot of people, and by the way, I was unbiased. I didn't fucking know. I didn't know shit. I just went there. I was like, oh, hey guys, I'm in Israel now. Oh, there's a lot of Muslims here. There's a lot of Jews here too. I'm in Israel. Why are they doing this? That's what it was. What the fuck is happening here, guys? Like, it seems like you're kind of fucked up the way you're being, guys. Like, it's real bad. Like, real fucking bad. Like, 3 a.m. raiding a family's home to scare them out of their home repetitively because the child is considered to have maybe thrown a rock, like, at some fucking threatening gun touting military dude who's just walking around all arrogant as fuck, and a rock comes flying at him, and then he's next day 3 a.m. let's raid their house. Coming in with fucking guns. Get out! Like, dude, it's a fucking child. You know they torture children? They fucking torture children that throw rocks. Someone throws a rock at a soldier, they will literally take them and fucking torture them. And in their little prison, just take them. Good luck, child. And these fucking kids are traumatized. You can watch them, see them talking about it. Like, oh, I was just there, and they threw a rock, and then I was in fucking. And then there's video of them in like with the police, just like fucking, boom, just screaming into these fucking like 10-year-olds. I'm like, dude. What kind of fucking inhumane, systematic indoctrination into this fucking bullshit system are you guys doing over there? Like, chill out. Fucking torturing children, and it's okay. It doesn't even come up. It's not even a thing. Media's like, don't worry, guys. Israel is great. We're going to go ahead and give them, I don't know, $60 billion this year. Even though, what did they do for that except for, the Holocaust, which, is questionable in lots of ways. But, fuck it. It's American money, and we're Christian, so we support the Jews. It's just what we do. Even though I'm not Christian, I'm not in support of these things whatsoever. You're taking my money, which I never gave you permission to do. I never said, oh, just please go. Please. Did you need money for another prison over there? Because I don't think these children are stopping throwing rocks. It's almost as if they don't like being oppressed. Like, they don't like guns in their fucking face and smoke bombs just banging their fucking head and bleeding on their fucking face because, it's just a smoke grenade. It's just rubber bullet. I'll shoot your fucking eye out. Oh, you don't like that, guy? You don't like our treatment of you? Did you know that you're Muslim? Because, no one cares about Muslims. It's fucked up, guys. Seriously. And then 9/11. See, that was... Come on. If you fucking believe that 9/11 was pulled off by some fucking terrorists that came from Saudi Arabia and just stole some planes and fucking crashed them into World Trade... No. No. Nope. this is an attack on Islam in a lot of ways. I'm surprised Saudi Arabia even goes along with it. I think it's because they're like a Jewish related. There's a lot of relationships between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And there's some kind of like Jewish, what's the word? Whatever. They're more okay with Israel than most Muslim nations like Iran that are like, what the fuck is going on here? I see you trying to take over the entire Middle East, because that's what's happening. Don't fucking trust this. This being both this, but also that. No. Shit is not okay when we're just turning people into some term. It's dehumanizing to call someone a terrorist and to present it as if it's just like them. Oh, did I get you pissed off to the point where you decided to then accept also this planted person? So then on top of the shit, on top of that, the same motherfuckers who are funding this stuff from the Christian side are also funding ISIS and giving them drugs. And then they pull these kids in. Oh, did you think you wanted to fight for Islam? Oh, that's so cute that you wanted to stand for Islam. You're standing for our thing now. And you're just going to go blow yourself up. I don't give a shit. We'll give you some meth, some drugs, make you so completely out of it that you won't even give a shit that you kill yourself and go into this fight and just die. And I'll sit here and pretend like I'm not some agent planted by some other more well-funded organization and some governmental thing. I was going to say organization followed by organization, and now it's just awkward. Something's up, guys. Don't trust any fucking thing they say at face value. Always dig in. Understand, look into the CIA and whatever else, all those like psyops that they legalized propaganda in the United States in like 1970, so it's literally legal for them to lie to us, and they think that it's okay. Oh, we made it okay, so it's okay now because we're the ones who say what's okay. So since we're the ones who say what's okay, and we made it okay for us to do the thing that we knew wasn't okay beforehand, it's okay. You understand? You understand. And if you don't understand, we'll make you understand, you fuck. Did I mention that you don't have a say in this, and that even though it's land of the free, you don't have a say, so just fucking sit down and be quiet, alright? Because we're trying to do some shit here. Shh, keep it down, dude. Did you see how close we were? We're like right the fuck there. We got Israel. We got it all. We're right there. Just shut up. Don't tell anyone. No one knows, dude. No one knows that we're fucking controlling everything for our own religious ends. Oh, yeah. Jesus will return. As long as we kill everyone to make him return. Oh, shit. But there's so many prophecies that are like pointed to as being fulfilled. Like, oh, and then in Israel, it will become green. Israel will just be lush and green. God will make Israel green. Something like God will, not like we'll do it. Like, okay, guys, we called it Israel, so let's go ahead and pump some money into this and make like ridiculous amounts of agricultural advances because we're just taking actual fertile soil from elsewhere, bringing in those nutrients here because, we got the money and making it all green and lush. And now look at that. The prophecy fulfilled, dudes. We did it. Aren't we something? Like, consistently that happens. The Holocaust pointed to as like evidence of Jews arising from bone or something, like, and I mean, it's talking about dead people. It's not talking about like skinny people because they haven't eaten food in forever, like they're not starving people, fucking bones, right? There's a difference, but if you don't care about the difference and all your objective is to like kind of make it appear as if Bible prophecy is at least like kind of being fulfilled, because you can't fulfill it all unless it really happened. My opinion is Israel hasn't happened yet. Sorry, guys. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. It's not Israel. Israel means God prevails. It doesn't mean law of man prevails. It doesn't mean our force of will of our flawed biases prevail. It means God prevails. So just keep that in mind, because if current Israel is representative of God prevailing, that is sad. Oh, fuck the Muslims. God's all like, fucking Muslims, man. They just won't believe that I'm Jesus. They think that I'm like more than that. They just won't. We must kill them all. That's the only solution. They're condemned to eternal hell. They just won't even. Nothing about them will accept. So it's just facts. They're just done. They're just fuck them. No, that's not what's happening. God prevailing is peace, equality. God, all of us, all is one, one is all. Like all of us having equality, unity, oneness, understanding, coming to a mutual agreement, letting things of the past kind of like, all right, guys, like, I know that shit was crazy, and I know this was all that one way, that one time, but like, that's in the past. It's cool, guys, because that's where we gotta get, to like, it's cool, guys. Now let's, but that takes abundance, because we're kind of running out of resources. So what the fuck are we gonna do? That's why I'm like, dude, I got a fucking actual idea for a way to tap into 0 point energy and gravity, and fucking crickets, guys. World's gonna just end and we're just gonna like move along. There was never a solution. Nothing could have worked. We just were destined to collapse because, we just ran out of the resources. It was just the end, the end of the line. It was a good run. Nice teamwork, everyone. I'm glad we all worked together to make it to the end here. And, did someone in the back have a question? Did you had something? No, next time, buddy. Next time you'll say all you want. Don't you worry. Next time, I gotta go, dude. I gotta go. See ya. All right. Anyway, I gotta go because it's school night. I gotta work tomorrow. Such is life. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.